Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. We are so happy that you are here with us today. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mike. Thanks for joining us. We have a fun topic today because we are talking about food and eating habits.
Food is one of my favorite things to talk about. It is part of everyday life. We all eat meals every day, and food often brings people together.
That is true. You can learn a lot about someone just by talking about food. You can ask about their favorite meal, what they usually eat, or even what foods they avoid.
And it is also a great topic for English learners because food conversations happen everywhere. You might talk about food with friends, coworkers, family members, or even people you meet while traveling.
I agree. Food is one of those topics that almost everyone enjoys discussing.
Speaking of food, I have to admit something. I started thinking about today's episode an hour ago, and now I'm already hungry.
Only an hour ago? I became hungry the moment I saw the title of today's episode.
That's funny. Maybe talking about food is dangerous before lunch.
It might be, but it is definitely fun. I'm looking forward to hearing about your food habits today.
And I'm curious about yours too. So let's get comfortable and enjoy this conversation together.
This is going to be a great discussion for anyone who loves food or wants to improve their English through everyday topics.
Talking about food reminds me of a very memorable meal I had a few years ago. It happened on a special occasion when my family was celebrating my mother's birthday.
That sounds interesting. Did you go to a restaurant?
Yes, we did. We chose a small restaurant near the beach. It wasn't a fancy place, but it had a wonderful atmosphere. The weather was beautiful, and we could hear the waves while we were eating.
That already sounds like a great experience. What did you order?
I ordered grilled fish with vegetables. It was so delicious that I still remember the taste today. Everything was cooked perfectly, and the ingredients tasted very fresh.
Was there anything that surprised you about the meal?
Actually, yes. At the end of dinner, the restaurant staff brought a small birthday cake for my mother. We didn't expect it at all. Everyone started singing, and my mother was completely surprised.
That must have made the evening even more memorable.
It really did. Sometimes it isn't only the food that makes a meal special. The people and the experience matter too.
I completely understand that.
And before we continue, if you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Speak English Daily, and leave a comment below. We'd love to know about a memorable meal you've had.
Yes, tell us about a restaurant, a family dinner, or a special occasion that you still remember. We always enjoy reading your comments.
Now let's talk about our eating styles, because everyone has different habits.
Definitely. I prefer eating my meals early in the day. I like having breakfast soon after I wake up.
That's interesting because I tend to eat later. Usually I have a light breakfast and then I eat a larger lunch.
Most of the time, I try to keep my schedule consistent. If I eat too late, I don't feel very comfortable.
I understand. I also prefer home cooking whenever possible. There is something special about preparing your own meals.
I enjoy home cooking too, but I have to admit that I order takeout more often than I should.
I think many people do that. Life gets busy and takeout can be very convenient.
What about meal size? Do you prefer large meals or small meals?
Usually, I eat smaller meals throughout the day. It helps me stay energetic.
I'm the opposite. Most of the time, I prefer 3 larger meals. That approach works better for me.
That's a good example of how food habits can be very different from person to person.
And neither way is right or wrong. It depends on your lifestyle and what makes you feel your best.
Earlier, you mentioned home cooking, and that reminds me of a word I use often, homemade.
I hear that word a lot. When you say homemade, what do you mean?
Homemade simply means something that is made at home rather than bought from a restaurant or store. For example, homemade soup often tastes very comforting.
I like that word. My grandmother makes homemade bread and it always tastes amazing.
Another useful word is filling. If a meal is filling, it keeps you satisfied for a long time.
So a bowl of rice, chicken, and vegetables can be very filling.
That's a perfect example. We can also describe food as fresh. Fresh food often tastes better because the ingredients have not been sitting around for a long time.
I love fresh fruit during the summer.
Me too. Another useful word is balanced. A balanced meal includes different types of food that work well together.
So a balanced meal might include protein, vegetables, and grains.
Exactly. Then we have the word snack, which is something small that you eat between meals.
I usually have a snack in the afternoon when I start feeling hungry.
Finally, there is the word portion. A portion is the amount of food served to one person.
Some restaurants serve such large portions that 2 people can share one meal.
Let's connect all of this to daily life. What do you usually do when you're very busy and don't have much time to eat?
On busy days, I try to prepare something simple. A sandwich, fruit, or yogurt can save a lot of time.
That sounds practical. What happens if you skip a meal?
I become tired and lose focus. By the afternoon, I feel low on energy.
The same thing happens to me. That's why I try to plan ahead. If I know I have a busy day, I prepare food the night before.
Planning ahead really helps. It prevents those moments when you're hungry and tempted to eat anything you can find.
I also keep healthy snacks nearby. That way, I always have something ready when I need it.
That's a smart habit. Small preparations can make a big difference during a busy week.
Since we're talking about habits, let's discuss healthy eating. One advantage is that you often have more energy throughout the day.
I agree. Another advantage is that you generally feel better physically.
The difficult part is staying consistent. Healthy choices are easy when you're motivated, but sometimes life becomes complicated.
That's very true. Sometimes convenience foods seem much easier than cooking a meal.
And temptation is everywhere. You walk past a bakery, smell fresh pastries, and suddenly your healthy plan becomes much harder to follow.
I know that feeling very well. The difficult part is finding balance rather than trying to be perfect.
That's a great way to look at it. Healthy eating doesn't mean every meal has to be perfect. Sometimes enjoying your favorite food is part of a healthy lifestyle too. The goal is to make good choices most of the time while still enjoying the foods you love. Let's imagine that some friends are coming to visit this weekend. One of my favorite things to do is plan a meal together.
I enjoy that too. Food is often the center of a social gathering. People may come to see each other, but everyone gets excited when it's time to eat.
Very true. When I invite friends, the first question is usually, where should we eat? Some people want to try a new restaurant, while others prefer a place they already know.
I have noticed that choosing a restaurant can sometimes take longer than eating the meal.
That happens all the time. One person wants pizza, another wants seafood, and someone else wants a healthy salad.
Then there's always one friend who says, "I don't mind," but somehow rejects every suggestion.
That is so true. Eventually, everyone agrees on a place, and then comes the next decision, what to order.
I like looking at the menu before I arrive. It helps me decide what dishes I might want.
I usually do the same thing. It saves time and makes ordering easier.
Since food with friends is such a common situation, maybe we should practice a restaurant conversation.
Great idea. Let's imagine we have just arrived at a restaurant together.
Perfect. Let's see how that conversation might sound.
Good evening. I am excited to be here. This restaurant looks very welcoming.
It does. The atmosphere is nice, and the menu looks interesting.
I think I'm ready to order, but I have a few questions first. What do you recommend?
The grilled chicken is very popular, and many customers also enjoy the pasta with vegetables.
That sounds good. I'd like the pasta with vegetables, please.
Great choice. Would you like a drink with that?
Yes, please. Could I have a glass of sparkling water?
Of course. Is there anything else you'd like?
Actually, I noticed that the pasta comes with mushrooms. Can I get that without mushrooms?
Certainly, the kitchen can prepare it without mushrooms.
Thank you. What are you going to order?
I'd like the grilled chicken with roasted vegetables.
That sounds delicious. Does it come with a side dish?
Yes, it comes with rice, but I would prefer a side salad.
That's a good option. I think both meals sound wonderful.
I agree, and while we wait, we can enjoy the conversation and the atmosphere.
One thing I like about that role play is how polite it sounds.
Yes, polite language makes a big difference when you're ordering food.
Instead of saying, "Give me pasta," it's much more natural to say, "I'd like the pasta, please."
I also like the phrase, "could I have?" because it sounds friendly and respectful.
Another useful expression is, "What do you recommend?" That's a great question when you are visiting a restaurant for the first time.
It can also help you discover dishes that you might not notice on the menu.
And sometimes we want to make a small change to a meal. That's when a phrase like, "Can I get that without mushrooms?" becomes very useful.
Restaurants hear requests like that every day. It is completely normal.
The important thing is to ask politely.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Most restaurant staff are happy to explain dishes and help customers choose something they will enjoy.
Before we continue, let's take a quick moment to hear from our wonderful listeners.
We always enjoy having you with us on Speak English Daily.
If you're learning English with our conversations, remember to like this episode and subscribe to the channel.
And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being part of our community.
We have a question for you today. If you could eat only one meal for an entire week, what would you choose?
That's a difficult question. I think I would get tired of my favorite food after a few days.
Really? I think I could eat pasta for a week without complaining.
7 days of pasta? That sounds like a challenge.
Maybe it does. Tell us your answer in the comments. We love reading your ideas and food opinions.
And who knows, maybe you'll give us some inspiration for our next meal.
Now, let's talk about how we describe food, because there are many useful adjectives that can make your conversations more interesting.
That's true. Instead of saying something is good, we can be much more specific.
For example, if a meal tastes very good, we can call it tasty.
I use that word a lot. A tasty meal is always memorable.
Another common word is spicy. Spicy food contains strong flavors that create heat in your mouth.
I enjoy spicy food, but only in small amounts. Too much spice can be difficult for me.
Then we have sweet. Cakes, cookies, and many desserts are sweet.
My weakness is sweet chocolate cake. I can never refuse a slice.
Some foods are salty, which means they contain a lot of salt.
Potato chips are often salty. Once I start eating them, it's hard to stop.
A soup or pasta sauce can be creamy when it has a smooth and rich texture.
I love creamy soups during cold weather. They feel very comforting.
Another useful word is crunchy. Foods like carrots, nuts, and certain snacks can be crunchy.
I enjoy crunchy foods because they add texture to a meal.
Finally, we have the word bland. Bland food lacks strong flavor.
Nobody wants a meal that is bland. Most people enjoy food with a little flavor and personality.
We've talked a lot about eating food today, but what about cooking it? Do you enjoy cooking at home?
I do, although I wouldn't call myself an expert. I like making simple meals that don't require too many ingredients.
That's how many people start. I learned to cook by following recipes step by step. At first, I was very careful because I was afraid of making mistakes.
I think everyone makes mistakes in the kitchen. It's part of the learning process.
Absolutely. I remember trying to bake a cake when I was younger. I followed the recipe, but I forgot one important ingredient.
Let me guess, the cake didn't turn out very well.
Not at all. It looked beautiful, but the texture was completely wrong. My family was very polite when they tasted it.
That reminds me of my first attempt at cooking pasta. I forgot to set a timer and became distracted by a television show.
Oh no, what happened?
The pasta became so soft that it almost disappeared when I stirred it.
That's a classic beginner mistake.
Thankfully, cooking gets easier with practice. The more recipes you try, the more confidence you build in the kitchen.
Speaking of funny food experiences, I have a story that still makes me laugh.
I can't wait to hear it.
A few years ago, I was traveling in another country and decided to visit a small local restaurant. The menu was written in the local language, and I didn't understand very much.
That already sounds dangerous.
I thought I had figured it out. I found a dish that I believed was a simple chicken meal, so I ordered it without asking any questions.
And it wasn't chicken?
Not even close. When the food arrived, I looked at the plate and had no idea what I was seeing.
What was it?
It turned out to be a seafood dish with ingredients I had never tried before. The waiter explained everything, and suddenly the whole situation made sense.
Were you shocked?
Very surprised. I had expected something completely different.
Did you send it back?
No, I decided to be adventurous and try it. To my surprise, it was actually delicious.
That's a great ending.
It taught me an important lesson. If you don't understand a menu, ask questions before ordering.
That's very practical advice for travelers and food lovers alike.
Since I shared a funny story, it's your turn.
Fair enough. My story involves a spicy food challenge, which was probably a bad idea from the beginning.
This sounds promising already.
A friend invited me to a restaurant that was famous for extremely spicy food. The challenge was simple. Finish one very spicy dish and receive a free t-shirt.
Let me guess, you wanted the t-shirt.
Of course I did. I was confident because I thought I could handle spicy food.
And then reality arrived.
Very quickly. The first few bites were manageable, then the spice suddenly became much stronger.
What happened next?
My eyes started watering, my face became red, and I felt like I was sitting next to a fire.
That sounds painful.
It was. Everyone around me was watching, and I was trying to look calm even though I was struggling.
Did you finish the challenge?
No, I admitted defeat halfway through. The waiter brought me a large glass of milk, and my friends laughed for the rest of the evening.
At least you gave it a try.
That's true. And I learned that there is a big difference between liking spicy food and surviving a spicy food challenge.
Before we finish today's episode, let's look at a few common English mistakes that learners sometimes make when talking about food.
Great idea. Small corrections can make a big difference.
One common mistake is saying, I have hunger.
In English, we usually say, I am hungry.
That's right. We use the verb to be. So instead of saying, I have hunger, say, I am hungry.
Another mistake involves the phrases I ate and I have eaten.
I ate is often used when talking about a finished action in the past. For example, I ate breakfast at 7 o'clock.
And I have eaten is usually used when the time is not important or when the action is connected to the present.
Here's another area that can be confusing: countable and uncountable nouns. For example, we can count apples, so we can say 3 apples.
But we usually don't count rice in the same way. We say some rice or a bowl of rice.
Learning these small differences helps your English sound more natural.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Everyone learns through practice.
The important thing is to keep speaking and keep improving.
We've reached the end of our conversation, so let's review some of the useful language we covered today.
We talked about food habits, meals, snacks, portions, and balanced meals.
We also learned descriptive words such as tasty, spicy, sweet, salty, creamy, crunchy, and bland.
We practiced useful restaurant expressions like I'd like, could I have, what do you recommend, and can I get that without?
We discussed cooking at home, planning meals, healthy eating, and social situations involving food.
And we shared a few funny stories that hopefully made you smile while practicing your listening skills.
Remember that food is a wonderful topic for conversation. You can use it when meeting new people, traveling, or simply chatting with friends.
The more you practice these everyday topics, the more confident you will become in English.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Speak English Daily.
We truly appreciate every listener who joins us for these conversations.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to use new words in real situations.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
Take care, everyone, and enjoy your next meal.
Goodbye, everyone.